What if the idea sitting quietly in your mind right now could completely change your financial future? Napoleon Hill believed that riches don't begin in your wallet. They begin in your thoughts. Most people have good ideas, even great ones, but very few know how to transform those ideas into income. That's the real secret. In this speech, you'll discover how Hill taught ordinary people to turn invisible thoughts into visible results. These lessons are simple, but they're not easy, and that's why they work. Stay with me until the very end, because the final insight might completely change how you see your own potential. Lesson 1. Every achievement begins as a definite idea. Napoleon Hill's philosophy hinges on the foundational principle that the starting point of all achievement is the formation of a definite, crystallized idea. In the vast landscape of human history, every skyscraper, every revolutionary medical breakthrough, and every global corporation began as a microscopic spark within the human mind. Hill argued that the universe does not respond to vague requests or half-hearted hopes. If you ask for success without defining what that looks like, you are essentially asking for nothing. Definiteness of purpose acts as a psychological compass, aligning your conscious and subconscious faculties toward a singular point of focus. Without this clarity, the mind remains fragmented, scattering its energy in a dozen different directions and ultimately achieving nothing of significance. To move from a state of longing to a state of attaining, one must transition from "I want" to "I will achieve this specific thing by this specific time." The psychological mechanism at work here is what Hill referred to as the magnificent obsession. When an idea is made definite, it begins to occupy the mental foreground, forcing the individual to filter every piece of incoming information through the lens of that idea. This is not merely motivational rhetoric, it is a cognitive strategy. When you decide exactly how much income you wish to earn and the exact service you intend to render in return, you create a mental blueprint. Just as an architect cannot build a structure without a detailed set of plans, a human being cannot build a life of abundance without a detailed mental map. Clarity of intent serves as a gatekeeper, allowing relevant opportunities to pass through while filtering out distractions that would otherwise sap your time and mental resources. Furthermore, the transition from a vague wish to a definite idea marks the moment a dream becomes a plan. Hill frequently observed that the majority of people live in a state of drifting, a condition characterized by a lack of aim and a susceptibility to environmental influences. By anchoring yourself to a definite idea, you cease to be a victim of circumstance and become a creator of your environment. This definiteness provides a sense of self-reliance. You no longer look to the world to tell you what is possible, but rather tell the world what you intend to manifest. This internal certainty is magnetic. It draws people, resources, and circumstances toward you because humans are naturally attracted to those who possess a clear sense of direction. In the marketplace, income is almost always a direct reflection of the value provided by a specific, well-executed idea. To truly master this lesson, one must engage in the rigorous work of self-interrogation. You must ask yourself, what is my major definite purpose? If the answer is fuzzy, the results will be equally blurred. Hill suggested that we must write down our goals, not just think them, because the act of writing forces a level of precision that thought alone often avoids. When you see your idea written in black and white, it gains a physical presence in the world. It becomes a contract with yourself. This clarity is the North Star of the entrepreneur and the artist alike. It provides the why that makes the how manageable. When the idea is definite, the mind is no longer searching for if it can be done, but rather how it will be done, shifting the brain from a state of doubt to a state of strategic problem-solving. Lesson 2. Desire is the fuel that turns ideas into action. If a definite idea is the engine of achievement, then desire is the high-octane fuel that powers it. Hill made a critical distinction between a mere wish and a burning desire. Most people wish for more money, better health, or higher status, but they lack the emotional intensity required to transmute those wishes into reality. A wish is a weak, flickering flame that is easily extinguished by the first gust of adversity. A burning desire, however, is a conflagration that consumes all obstacles in its path. It is an emotional state so intense that it becomes the dominant thought of one's life. Hill posited that until an idea is backed by this level of emotional urgency, it remains a stagnant concept, unable to overcome the natural inertia of human behavior. Desire is the force that bridges the gap between the mental world and the physical world. It is the why that sustains us when the how becomes difficult. When an individual is possessed by a genuine burning desire, their physiology actually changes. They experience heightened levels of alertness, increased energy, and a relentless drive to move toward their goal. This is why Hill emphasized that success does not necessarily go to the most talented or the most educated, but to the most obsessed. Intellectual brilliance is a static asset. Desire is a dynamic force. A person of average intelligence fueled by an all-consuming desire will almost always outperform a genius who lacks the will to act. In the pursuit of income and influence, your level of hunger is the most accurate predictor of your ultimate altitude. Moreover, desire transforms our perception of failure. To the person who only wishes, a setback is a convenient excuse to quit. To the person fueled by desire, a setback is merely a temporary delay, a puzzle to be solved rather than a wall to be stopped by. This emotional intensity creates a must-win environment in the mind. Hill famously recounted the story of the warrior who burned his ships upon landing in enemy territory, leaving his men with no choice but to conquer or perish. That is the essence of burning desire, the elimination of all avenues of retreat. When you decide that failure is not an option, your mind gains access to creative reserves and levels of stamina that are otherwise inaccessible. This psychological state is what allows innovators and entrepreneurs to endure years of lean harvests before their idea finally bears fruit. Ultimately, desire is the great equalizer. It does not care about your past, your social standing, or your current bank balance. It only cares about the intensity of your focus. To cultivate this desire, Hill suggested that we must constantly visualize the rewards of our success. We must feel the reality of our goal before it has actually manifested. This process of emotional rehearsal sensitizes the subconscious mind to the goal, making the eventual action feel like a natural progression rather than a forced chore. When your desire is sufficiently hot, it burns away the fear of criticism and the fear of failure. You stop asking for permission and start taking territory. Income, in its most basic form, is a byproduct of the energy you put into the world, and there is no greater source of human energy than a heart on fire with a specific purpose. Lesson 3. Faith programs the mind for success. Napoleon Hill's concept of faith is often misunderstood as a passive or religious sentiment, but in the context of personal achievement, he defined it as a state of mind characterized by absolute, unwavering belief in the attainment of one's goals. Faith is the mental chemistry that, when combined with an idea and desire, activates the subconscious mind. Hill believed that our thoughts are like seeds, and the subconscious mind is the soil. If you plant the seed of an idea but water it with the acid of doubt, it will wither. However, if you nurture it with the sunshine of faith, the conviction that the outcome is already a reality in the mental realm, the subconscious will begin to organize your behavior and perception to bring that idea into physical form. This applied faith is essentially the habit of expecting success. It is the refusal to entertain the possibility of ultimate defeat. When you operate from a place of faith, you activate what modern psychologists call the reticular activating system, RAS. This is the part of the brain that filters out the millions of bits of data we receive and highlights only what is relevant to our current focus. When you have faith in your idea's profitability, your RAS begins to point out potential partners, market gaps, and revenue streams that were invisible to you when you were in a state of doubt. Faith doesn't change the world outside you so much as it changes the lens through which you see it, allowing you to recognize the acres of diamonds hidden in your own backyard. Hill also emphasized that faith can be induced through the practice of auto-suggestion. Since the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a real experience and one that is vividly imagined and emotionally charged, we can trick ourselves into a state of faith. By repeatedly affirming our goals and visualizing our success with deep emotion, we rewrite the underlying software of our personality. We move from a poverty consciousness to a success consciousness. This is vital because income rarely exceeds our level of self-belief. If you subconsciously believe you are only worth $50,000 a year, you will unconsciously sabotage any opportunity that might pay you $500,000. Faith raises the internal ceiling of what you believe you deserve, creating a vacuum that the external world eventually fills with material results. Furthermore, faith serves as a protective shield against the negative influences of others. The world is full of naysayers who will be quick to tell you why your idea won't work. Without a fortified sense of faith, these external voices will eventually become your internal dialogue. Faith allows you to maintain an inner sanctuary of certainty, regardless of the chaos or skepticism surrounding you. It is the quality that allows a leader to stand firm when the path is unclear and the stakes are high. Hill taught that faith is the only known antidote to failure. When you have faith, you don't just try to make money or try to build a business. You act with the quiet confidence of someone who knows the check is already in the mail. It is this aura of certainty that inspires others to follow you, invest in you, and buy from you. Lesson 4. Organized action turns ideas into results. The most brilliant idea and the most burning desire are nothing more than hallucinations if they are not translated into organized action. Napoleon Hill was a pragmatist. He understood that the universe rewards movement, not just meditation. Many people fall into the trap of analysis paralysis, spending years refining a plan but never actually launching it. Hill argued that the world does not pay men for what they know. It pays them for what they do or induce others to do. Organized action is the process of taking your definite idea and breaking it down into a sequence of practical, manageable steps. It is the transition from the philosophical to the mechanical, where the dream meets the hard reality of execution. A key component of organized action is the recognition that no individual has all the knowledge required for great success. This is why Hill championed the mastermind concept, the coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between two or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Organized action often involves surrounding yourself with experts who can fill the gaps in your own skill set. It means creating a schedule, setting deadlines, and holding yourself accountable to a standard of excellence. It is the difference between a to-do list and a strategic mission. When action is organized, every hour spent working contributes directly to the overarching goal, ensuring that you are not merely busy, but truly productive. Hill also cautioned against the pursuit of perfection before beginning. He famously said, "Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along." This is a crucial insight for anyone seeking to generate income. The marketplace provides the best feedback you can ever receive. You can plan in a vacuum for a year, but 1 week of actual doing will teach you more about what customers want and how to refine your idea than any book or seminar ever could. Organized action is an iterative process. You act, you observe the result, you adjust the plan, and you act again. This feedback loop is the only way to transform a raw idea into a profitable reality. Finally, Organized action requires a high level of self-discipline. It is the ability to do the work when you don't feel like doing it. It is the commitment to the boring parts of the business, the accounting, the follow-up calls, the logistics, that support the exciting parts of the vision. Income is ultimately a transaction. It is what you receive in exchange for the value you deliver through your actions. If your actions are chaotic and disorganized, the value you provide will be inconsistent, and your income will reflect that instability. By organizing your efforts, you maximize your efficiency and scale your impact. You move from being a solo laborer to being a system builder. In the end, the person who executes a mediocre plan with organized intensity will always defeat the person who has a great plan but lacks the discipline to move. Lesson 5. Persistence separates dreamers from earners. The final and perhaps most essential quality in Hill's philosophy is persistence. He observed that the road to success is paved with temporary defeats, and that most people quit when they are 3 feet from gold. Persistence is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith and transform an idea into its physical counterpart. It is a state of mind that can be cultivated, and it is the primary factor that distinguishes the person who merely dreams from the person who actually earns. Without persistence, you will be defeated before you even start. With it, you are practically invincible because you refuse to accept anything less than the attainment of your goal. Persistence is the ability to maintain your momentum when the initial excitement of a new idea has worn off. Every new venture begins with a burst of enthusiasm, but that energy eventually wanes as the reality of the work sets in. This is the dip where most people abandon their projects. Hill argued that persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. It is the tempering process that makes you strong enough to handle the pressures of high-level success. When you persist through the silent periods, those times when you are working hard but seeing no visible results, you are actually building the internal capacity required to manage the wealth and influence that will eventually come your way. One of the greatest enemies of persistence is the fear of criticism. Many people stop pursuing their definite idea because they are afraid of what their friends, family, or the public will say if they fail. Persistence requires a thick skin and a deaf ear to the opinions of the small-minded. Hill believed that if you are truly persistent, you don't care about the how of the struggle. You only care about the that of the achievement. You realize that every no is just a step closer to a yes. This relentless attitude is what creates breakthroughs. Think of the inventor who fails 1,000 times before the light bulb finally glows. The 1,000 failures weren't defeats, they were data points. Persistence turns failure into an education. Ultimately, income flows to those who stay in the game long enough to win. The marketplace is a competitive arena, and it often functions as a war of attrition. Those who are easily discouraged are quickly filtered out, leaving the rewards to those who had the stamina to remain standing. Persistence is not just about blind stubbornness. It is about the intelligent application of effort over a long period. It is the refusal to let go of your vision, even when the rest of the world has given up on you. When you combine a definite idea, a burning desire, absolute faith, and organized action with a persistent spirit, you create an unstoppable force. You become the master of your fate and the captain of your soul, and the financial rewards you seek will inevitably follow the man or woman who refuses to quit. Napoleon Hill's secret was never really a secret. It was a system. Clear ideas, fueled by desire, strengthened by faith, executed with action, and protected by persistence. The idea you have today could become the income you desire tomorrow, but only if you decide to take it seriously. Don't let your ideas die in your mind. Start where you are, act on what you know, and keep going. Remember, riches begin with a single thought, and that thought might already be yours.